Welcome back. Just before we took leave of you for a few minutes, we were talking to our distinguished guest today, Mr. T.M. Ahmed Kaysher, about the musical programs, activities, performance, and shows that he is bring to all of us and promoting rural Bangladesh and its music. Kaysher, we were talking about what kind of audience you get. May I tag it with other questions like who are your supporters? Particularly in this kind of business, finance is a big problem. I know you have friends in high places, but what about the music industry?
Yeah, well, first
the audience, yes.
First of all, audience, we started when we formulated completely different kind of shows, different kind of productions, and different philosophy of presenting musics, Indian classical music, for an example, or Bengali folk music. We started also a campaign of creating new audience. So say for instance, when we do Bengali folk music, we never ever were focused on who are regular into these events. We tried quite relentlessly to expand the boundary of the music. So just to make sure that I'm not just asking Neazji for coming to my events every day. So we need to make sure that the network is expanding.
Right.
And when we started, especially with Radharaman Festival in Leeds, we have certain regular audiences, but because they find it quite interesting, and because we do not compromise with the quality of the production, they always spread the word through the words of mouth. But again, it is quite hard for us. It's hard for me as well, because I personally do not believe in pushing audiences to my shows or to my events, because I think this is an insult to the activities I do.
To the talent.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I have to push you to come and see whatever I do, it's like a narcissistic, narcissistic manifestation. I try to make sure all of our motto of the marketing is to make sure that information is available for you.
Yeah.
And then if you come suddenly one day to my event, I want you to intrigue you with the quality of the production, so that you can come again, and then you can always recommend to other audiences. So we were fortunate that a number of media, especially journalists, especially musicologists who attended in our event, and then they spoke high about our productions. That's how we managed to do events in South Bank Center, prestigious places, university venues, because they find it quite not just high quality production, they find it something to research on those productions.
It's also high quality audience.
Exactly.
Viewers.
Exactly. I mean, only because we try to, anybody and everybody can be the audience, but I try to make sure that at least, especially when we do an event of Indian classical music, we at least want someone to have a good journey in music. Unless you have a journey in music, you will end up with having selfie or just having a check-in that I'm proud to attend and show this event. Apart from this, you are not gaining anything. We are not gaining anything by your presence. We want to create a serene ambience by having wonderful music-loving audiences. So we try to connect music-loving audiences from all sources, all networks and all backgrounds. Quite fortunately, because by the events I did for show though, I managed to gain the trust from music-loving audiences of this country. My journey was quite easier when I did something for folk music, Bengali folk music. So what I did in Rich Mix, Binonder Kicha, I was thinking, because I couldn't invite anyone to come, I just made the information available in Facebook, social media, And then quite fortunately the house was full 3 days before. Richmond said we can't have anyone in, and then I was a bit anxious because this was something different from what I do for Shodo. I mean, Shodo is, like I said, it's not classical music, it's just folk music. And then I was thinking whether people who loves classical music, they will not like folk music. And people who likes folk music, they are not my audience, so I may miss audiences for Palagan. But quite fortunately, event of Palagan was really full in Rich Mix. And then something quite similar happened when I did Madan Kumar and Madhumala Palagan in Popular Union. So same regular audiences who perhaps attended in Rich Mix, they attended in Popular Union, and then they started emailing me that when are you doing something similar. So this is our third production of Palagan in the Space Theatre. And the second question you asked, who are the supporters of these activities? Mainly, I should say, when I do, say for instance, I do a Bangla Music Festival, 3 months long Bangla Music Festival. Kindly you attended in the House of Commons year before the last one, is part of Bangla Music Festival. And that is organized by Shodo. That was partially funded by Tower Hamlets Council. And then personally, because I do something else for my living, so I do not have any expectation from any kind of grants, but quite unfortunately, because I do something full time as a job, I always miss the opportunity to apply for funding. The director of Art Council met me and then asked me, why don't you apply for Art Council grant? She attended one of our shows in Leeds, 7 Arts Theatre, and he thought, looking at the production, looking at the team of the production, he thought that was definitely funded by Art Council. And they said, did he fund you for this? And I said, no, I didn't ask for even funding. I said, why didn't you apply for funding? Only because I lack the time, and also you need some sort of efforts. And I always find that I have to do apply for funding, but I can get away with funding most of the time because we have quite a good base of regular audiences. So if we do a ticketed event, and if we can make it house full,
it pays for itself.
Yeah, so that's how we can most of the time get away with.
Since you're into music and involved in music most of the time, apart from your own personal work in Leeds, how good is your singing?
Singing, that is something. I am not a singer at all. I'm in professional capacity, but I do sing. I started learning from the finest Indian classical vocalist in this country, Chandra Chakraborty ji, but I do not qualify to say that I'm learning from her. Such a great, wonderful vocalist, wonderful musician. But I start singing.
Have you given her the Guru Dakshina? Let's say?
Well, she kindly agrees me to give some lessons, but because I didn't have that from childhood, I didn't have that grooming. So she and sometimes I'm busy with so many other things, so possibly she's not happy to have me as her student most of the time. But folk music is something that I was so much into, even from my childhood. I sing for myself, and those Palagan, I narrate those Palagan with singing as well. And because the audience says,
could we have some?
Well, I can sing possibly something from.
Give it a try.
Something from this Palagan. So this Palagan starts with a bit of background about the king. So it says, The king has no happiness in his mind. People call him impotent because he is childless. They blame him for all the sufferings that they go through, and they believe king brought a curse on the whole country. Then the king one day decided to renounce the throne and rushed through the bank of the river Meghna, leading to a deep forest. আর মনের দুঃখে রাজা করেন আরতি আর বিলাপ, কারে বা শোনাবো আমার মনের দুঃখতা। এত আছে শুধু কেন সন্তান নাই রে বিধি, রাজ্যেরও প্রজা না আমার দোষে ভাগী। আর এত আছে শুধু কেন সন্তান নাই রে বিধি, রাজ্যেরও প্রজা না আমার দোষে দোষী। কে থাকো আকাশে করো এমন নিঠুর খেলা, কে থাকো আকাশে করো এমন নিঠুর খেলা। কেন বা দয়াল বিধি নিষ্ঠুর হইলা, তোমরা দেখো আইয়া রে রূপবানেরও পালায় আমি করিব বর্ণনা। King then wails. King starts lamenting. কারে দেখাবো মনের দুঃখ গো আমি বুক চিরিয়া, অন্তরে তুষেরি অনল জলে গইয়া গইয়া।
That's great. You know, the lyrics, are they original lyrics or have they been translated from ancient Sanskrit?
These are original, most of them are original. The puthi that I recited, that was original. But the narrative was developed by myself.
Great. I'm sure that all this discussion and the background has transported you, as I read somewhere, to the rural Bangladesh, to under a banyan tree, the traditional spot where storytellers sit and enjoy the long afternoons. We are in London, we are having a traditional summer, far more severe than we have seen in last few years. So it's probably in fitness of the season and weather that Mr. T.M. Kaysher has performed and is going to organize this show of Palagan, Rahim Badshahin, Ruban. Thank you very much for coming along and giving us an opportunity to talk to you, and it was a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me too.
Not at all.
Thanks.
Thank you for being with us. We hope that you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. Same time, same channel. See you next week. In the meantime, take care.